Hey, season gang, it's the season lady coming back at you with another video. And this is something that me and Miss Kiki Palmer likes to call the reframe. And basically what reframing is taking a negative situation and turning it into a positive situation. Now, I've got my notes right here, and the definition of reframing is the process of shifting your perspective on a situation, experience, or belief to see it in a positive light. So, you say you're living alone. I say you love your own company and you've created a sanctuary in order to foster that. You say dating after 50. I say a new chance in this life for love and companionship. The reframe. You say a relationship ended. I say I was making space for someone that I was more aligned with. You say the nest is empty. I say I have created an atmosphere that's open for rediscovery for myself. You say you got ghosted. I say this person missed an opportunity to experience me. Let's reframe all these things that can be considered negative into something that is a little bit more positive. So, like I said, I've got my notes here. I saw this on TikTok from Miss Kiki Palmer, and I had to put my own spin on it because I like the idea of a reframe. I like the idea of taking a negative situation and turning it into something positive. So, I have a few tips that we can use so that we can take those negative experiences and turn them into something positive. Now, we all know that we're not going to always have sunshine. We're going to have to take some lemons and turn it into lemonade. That's life. That's just how it is. But if we can focus on things in a more positive light, I do believe that things will be a little bit happier for us in this season time. So there are a couple of mind shift changes that need to be made so that we can take the time to do that. So when I say reframe, these are typically ideas that come to our mind, not necessarily situations that happen. Sometimes things happen to us and we want to look at it in a negative light, but we need to reframe it and look at it in a positive light. So we need to recognize and acknowledge our thoughts because we've been thinking a certain way for a very long time, and a reframe is a matter of changing that. So if we're going to change it, we have to take some time, recognize our thoughts as we always have, and then acknowledge the need to make the change. So it's a conscious decision to look at things differently. Second is that we need to question our thought. Why does this come across as negative to us? Now, I'm not talking about bad things that happen, because sometimes bad things happen and it's just not a whole lot we can do about it. Bad things happen, they're bad things, and we acknowledge them and we do our best to move on from it. But if it's something we can reframe, we definitely need to do it. So let's question the thought. Let's question why it's coming to us as something negative and see what we can turn it into positive. And then we just simply need to flip the script. We need to flip the script. For every negative situation, I can turn it into a positive situation, even if it only makes sense to me. You know, if I get in a car accident, then I can say, well, at least I'm still alive. I can get a new car. If I gain some weight and I was hoping to lose some weight, I can say, well, at least I acknowledge the fact that I gained that weight. Now I got to stop doing this, and this to lose the weight. All things can be reframed, even when it involves other people. Like I said, if somebody ghosts you or somebody disappears from your life, you just say, well, they missed an opportunity to experience me. It's a positive. View all of these things as positive. You know, if you happen to be living by yourself, you don't have to be lonely. It's an opportunity for you to get to know you and embrace how you feel in certain situations. It's the reframe. We're just going to change it. We're not going to focus on negative. We're going to focus on positive. We are going to flip the script. The next thing we need to do is focus on the lesson and the opportunity in all of this. You know, sometimes when things happen, specifically when people leave our lives, we feel like it's a bad thing. But in most cases, we dodged the bullet. You know, they missed an opportunity to experience us, but we didn't have the opportunity to experience them. And that's a lot of times that can be a good thing, because people don't just disappear, for no reason. So flip the script. Never focus on the negative, always focus on the positive. And then practice gratitude in all those things. Gratitude. My grandmother used to say all the time when we would complain about going to work, she'd say, thank God you got a job. When a bill comes up or something we don't want to pay, she would say, thank God you got it. She was the queen of the reframe. And, 30 years ago, I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to consider it a reframe. But she was the queen. There were so many lessons that my grandmother taught us along the way that we didn't really view them as lessons at the time. We just thought she is out of touch. She don't have a clue. But she was right. Thank God for certain opportunities. Thank God for certain things that just happen, because you got to do it. So you may as well look at it positively and don't dwell on it if it's something you just absolutely have to do. So oftentimes when things come up, I hear her little voice saying, well, thank God you got it. Or thank God this happened. Or thank God that happened. You got a good job. You blessed. We don't want to go to work, but thank God, I'm not digging ditches. I'm sitting at a desk, dealing with legal matters for people. Thank God for it. If I got to work, at least it's something that I enjoy doing. So we got to flip the script. And then we have to exercise gratitude. We can find gratitude in almost everything, just like we can flip the script from positive to negative. So I just wanted to come to you guys real quick and give you my take on the reframe. And I want to hear from you guys. Give me some things that you can reframe, some things that may have happened in your lifetime or things that you may have done that we can reframe. And it may have been something that somebody meant for evil that you turned around and made it good. So drop me some comments. Let me know what you think. What have you had to reframe? How have you had to reframe? Every time you guys send me comments, it's some stuff that I just didn't even consider. And I'm so grateful for my season gang, because as much as I'm trying to help you guys and connect with you guys are helping me, keeping me motivated, keeping me doing all the things that I need to do. And I want you to know that your girl greatly appreciates it. So whenever something negative happens, reframe it and turn it into something positive. Until the next time, like my video, subscribe to the channel, and it's the Seasoned Lady signing out. I hope everyone has a absolutely terrific afternoon. Toodles!